Yeah, just a topic change. You know Kevin Costner's leaving Yellowstone?
Is he leaving or is he being asked to leave? I always wonder like what the impetus is of something like that. Is he tired of it? Because I see he likes that nature shit for real. I see him do all sorts of save the wilderness nonsense all the time, like speeches about Yellowstone.
I think he finds Taylor Sheridan, that pronunciation's almost perfect, I think, too hard to work with and not worth it. So he's coming back for the second half of season 5. Side note, the gap is so big. It's basically season 6.
Yeah, that's annoying.
After that, he's done.
With the writer's strike, I think a lot of programs are going to get lost in the shuffle. It's really damaging, I think, to a brand when you take that 18 months off with no content out. Like the world moves on and forgets about you. That's how I remember how hyped we were for One Punch Man back when that first season of animation came out. I was like, man, this is some anime I like. Okay, this is like anime. This is like a meta anime. It's all about how silly anime is, and I really dug it.
Should I watch that one? I've been trying to figure out like what's everybody, a lot of people like anime, and I've been trying to like figure out like which one to watch. Like I don't know anything about it. I've never really seen it. I watched Dragon Ball back in the day, but like, is that the One Punch Man?
Well, you're asking some Klansmen where the best hip hop joint is right now. So we're not
gone that direction.
You were excited about anime.
We hate anime and everything they stand for. We laugh at them constantly. We have names for the people who enjoy it. Yeah, it's perfect.
I've never seen an anime I like. I didn't watch One Punch Man. Actually, you guys recommended it to me. I watched half of the first episode until the like Big Lobster guy was out there, and it was like, there is something to me that is jarring about the aesthetic of anime that I really don't enjoy. I don't like the animation style of it. I'm sure the stories are fine. I don't know anything about it, but that style I do not like. Other than Pokemon in the mid-90s. And I don't even consider that an anime.
One Punch Man is the one that I would recommend as someone who doesn't know very much. I tried to watch a couple of them. I'm sure I've had very strong recommendations. I think someone recommends something called Bleach that I tried to watch. And then there's the other one, Attack on Titan.
I tried that too.
And Attack on Titan with those big dead-eyed monsters. I remember I was like, oh, okay, this is the main guy. This is our hero. I'll follow him. And then he gets chomped up like 45 minutes later, like eaten alive. And I was like, fuck.
We were being paid to watch that show, and we still struggled.
Literally. Yeah, Crunchyroll or whatever was paying us to watch that shit. And One Punch Man, however, is kind of making fun of all the tropes of anime. You know how they'll go like, they'll always have a higher power mode. Like, I'm going to have to super duper Saiyan this time. It's going to be purple instead of red. And you're like, oh my God, he's turning purple. And next week he can turn green and you'll be just as blown away. They make fun of that because One Punch Man is a guy named Saitama. And he just decided to be a superhero because he thought it was chill. And so he came up with this workout program that's top secret. He only tells his sensei after most of the way through the season. He finally divulges to his sensei what he does. Because One Punch Man is so powerful that he is what his name would suggest. He doesn't just win his fights in one punch. He destroys his enemies with one punch. There are different levels to how strong he'll hit something. At one point, he goes, full effort, one punch. And you're like, what are you talking about? You've never hit anything as hard as you could before? and he like makes a black hole, right? But
as a quick example, he once saved the Earth from a satellite, what am I going for? Asteroid with a single punch.
Just explodes, right? So
it's really
finally, he's going to tell his
sensei.
His sensei is like a classic character from any great story. His family's been killed, and so he is going through all these. He's been training for years to avenge them, and he's gone so far as to have pieces of his body replaced by mech parts. Like, oh, my arm wasn't good enough. Now it's steel. Now it's as good as it can be. And so he asked Saitama, like, what do you do, master? Tell me. I'm on this mission of vengeance. Tell me. He's like, all right, I'll tell you. You must never divulge my secrets. Never, master, never. All right, every day I ran 5 kilometers. I did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. Here's the worst part. No air conditioning. You can do that. And that's literally what he did. And the guy's just having a meltdown. He's like, fuck you, you piece of shit. I have walked through fire of hell with you. And you come up with that. But that's literally what he did. He goes, wait, that's not even that much.
Not even
that hard.
100 sit-ups, that's all you're doing.
I feel like I could do that.
If you dedicated yourself, it wouldn't get you that fit.
There's guys, there's a guy on YouTube, and I'm sure it's been done a bunch of times, but he did it. He was like, you know what? Next 30 days, I'm on the Saitama plan. You see him turn the thermostat off.
I like that part.
And he,
in February.
And of course, the run ends up being, it might be 10K. It's at least 5K a day.
10K. I didn't want to correct
but 10K a day begins to really weigh on you. But the push-ups, especially if you do like, I don't know, 25, 25, 25, they're nothing. But when you get to a 10K every day, just finding the time for that shit, that's pretty extreme.
How many miles is
100
that?
push-ups a day?
I think that's 25, 25, 25, and you'd be fine. You'd be sore every day, but
it's like 10K is like 4 miles, right?
I think most people listening to this would have to work up to 4 sets of 25 a day.
Well, I would imagine you're already in enough shape that you're aspiring to be a superhero. So you wouldn't start from sluggishness and
that's where I start.
You don't start from couch potato mode and go to the Saitama diet. I don't think. I think if you're already slightly competent.
Yeah,
I don't think there was a time when I thought that people were going to become heroes. I thought that we would have that, like legitimately. I don't mean like as a kid. I mean a few years ago, it seemed like superheroes were so popular in media that I thought maybe we'd get some vigilantes out there. And my theory is this: there are vigilantes out there, crazy kooks, if you want to call them that. Probably just guys in rubber suits with weaponry who are doing shit, and we don't hear about it because if they reported on it, it would cause more cases. It would be like a Batman scenario where if you see the Joker on TV and you're like inspired to be the Riddler now, and that propagates on and on.
I think they're villains or heroes or both.
I think they're both. I think there are definitely wannabe heroes who are essentially just crazed people out there who are armed and in suits and running around in special cars with lights on the top, claiming they're enforcing laws.
What if you want to be a villain, but you don't want to go
That's the police.
All in to the bad? Like, what's a good starter level villain?
You mean
like something more intense than like Graffiti Man? But not
Lockpick Man.
You're not really hurting people too badly, like Small Claims Court and like some sort of
can I be
dog shit in a flaming bag, maybe something like that.
Yeah, the prankster, and they're all innocent. They're all at the end. It's like no, but we're having a good time, aren't we?
Just you glue things together that now it's annoying for people. Doors and.
Yeah, sticky stuff on doorknobs, handrails, stuff like that.
Sticky stuff. Pretty
fucked up.
I'm the cart anarchist, and I go to grocery stores and I take all the carts out and I push them everywhere, and then I get back in my car, drive away.
Yeah, then put jelly on the handle as well.
Jelly on the handle, scare everyone.
Ooh,
I steal money from the Santa Claus.
What if you knocked the wheel so they all did the wiggle thing that grocery carts do? Right, the grocery cart vandal.
You could. That's almost too low. That's almost too,
that's too much.
Petty. That's too petty. Someone needs to look at our mischief and go, this is going to take 20, 25 minutes. What
superhero would you want for your city, for example, Taylor, in Missouri, where things are terrible and scary, and it's essentially, society's falling apart.
St. Louis.
Hiding their homes
great.
at night. I'm not
St.
done
Louis
tearing down your homeland. It's just a hellscape of sin, debauchery, and a lack of basic human principles.
I have my answer
being implied. Yeah,
it would be Hammerman.
Hammerman.
Yeah. But it's no. It's in the same vein as Batman because he's like, now they will know what I fear. And so, like, he doesn't use hammers, but he is emblazoned with a hammer to show that Aqua doesn't know this. St. Louis City has a slew of they have a hammer murder problem. People are killed with a spat of claw hammer related issues. And so, if we had sort of a Batman thing with the hammerist,
which they claim are unrelated, and we come right back around to the possibility there are supervillains out there, and yet hammer murder after hammer murderer. Clearly, MC Hammer murderer is out there killing people, and the police don't want to talk about him. There was a movie where Shaq, I think, played a superhero called Steel, and I think
God.
his weapon of choice was a big sledgehammer.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's a cool weapon for a superhero.
I
It
think
didn't
he
have any
went the
powers
actual
whatsoever.
Batman for St. Louis. And the reason why, twofold. One,
He'd get killed.
he really focuses on the
Covered in
neighborhood
armor.
level crime, right?
Mhm.
So you don't want Iron Man or Superman because they're not friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, for example. But the reason I'm picking Batman over Spider-Man is the other thing that Bruce Wayne can do, which is money. People think of Bruce Wayne as the Batman that goes and catches bad guys. They forget he's also the super wealthy guy that like solves homelessness and invests in the community, improves the schools. Spider-Man can't do that. So Batman's the one you want. He's got cash and crime fighting prowess.
He almost never does that
He's
though.
too cocky.
He's usually using it as a flex for pussy and stuff, right? Like they'll be like, "Sir, your whores can't be naked in our fountain." And he's like, "Ha, I just bought this building."
That does rock. Like
He
that's
did
pretty
that.
cool.
That's the Nolan Batman. He literally does that in the first.
That's the best
movie.
Batman. So
He
yeah.
has 2 whores with him.
No,
I think his
Batman.
car
Batman
only
would
has
go
one
into
seat.
Batman would go into East St. Louis in his Batmobile, all confident, and he'd get robbed. He'd get killed.
Bulletproof.
The Wayne Foundation is
They call him a racist. Is what would actually happen.
constantly invest in the neighborhood. Batman's Industries are the major employer in the neighborhood. You need Batman in St. Louis. You need Bruce Wayne and Batman.